Hi, Ghosties. I'm Macy.
And I'm Natalie.
And we said we'd do it. And we're here today to keep our word. This is the first episode of many where we'll be discussing haunted woods.
That's actually concerning. I'm scared.
I know. This has
Woods.
really freaked me out a little more than I thought it would. But the Hoia Baciu Forest is considered by many to be one of the most haunted places in Romania. And I'm really excited to tell you about it.
I'm very excited to listen.
The forest, have you ever seen The Village by M. Night Shyamalan?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, this forest gives me The Village vibes a little bit, but only because of me. Like, there's nothing really that is very similar. It just does. There's pictures of it and everything.
Yeah. I like his movies. A movie I hadn't seen that came out in 2016 that for some reason I never watched it, but I always wanted to. I watched it finally the other day. Split. That's one
Never
of his
watched
movies.
it. Yeah, never watched it.
Literally, when the previews were coming out in 2016, I remember being like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. I have to watch this. And I never did until the other day. It was good.
Was it?
It was good.
Okay, I need to watch it too, because that is also one that I want to. Well, anyway, moving on. We're talking about forests. Our tea this week, don't have any clue what it's called. I completely forgot to look at the name, but our Mimi sent it to us.
Thanks,
So it's from
Mimi.
Spice and Tea Exchange. Thank you, Mimi, so much. We'll put it on the screen here and in the description if y'all want to find it. But it's got vanilla in it. That's all I know.
Woo! I'm excited.
I'm going to be honest, I cannot taste. Allergies have gotten to me in
The worst way.
the worst possible way. So my taste buds are off and it just tastes warm.
I like it.
you?
This is a great relief from the horrible things we've experienced these last couple times.
Yeah.
Speaking
that's
of, someone actually did want the
Oh, yeah.
the
Tree bark.
That's what she called it. They did want the bad tea. So if y'all want that ginger tea we had a few episodes ago.
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, we had one called Ginger Snappish. We've still got I have 2 boxes actually because someone bought me another one. I'm not opening it. So we've got 2 boxes.
That was Mom.
Oh, it was Mom. It was bad. I haven't even opened it. We've got 2 boxes. They are individual baggies. They're packaged. So if you want it,
them. If you are
DM us.
interested in tasting a dog's bark, this one's for you. It was really bad.
We've got 2 this time, so 2 people can have it. DM us on Instagram, Ghosties, at Ghosties Pod. Yeah, let us know. We'll happily send
That's
it away.
just gonna be our new thing. Every tea we don't like, it's the giveaway.
Send it on.
So terrible.
Pass it to the next and watch for your reaction. Yeah, let us know. And if you do receive our tea, please let us know what you thought, because
Please.
I am both excited and scared. But you like the tea? This is good?
I do. It's vanilla.
A good everyday?
Yes, I would drink it every day. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you so much, Mimi. We really appreciate it. She watches every one of these, so hello. So, to start, when you think of Transylvania, what comes to your mind?
The hotel.
Oh, like Hotel Transylvania?
Yes.
Okay. Not so much me. I was going in a different direction. My mind really
Vampires?
races, with lots of vampires, Dracula, the Bren Castle, Vlad the Impaler, all that kind of spooky vibe. You're more this makes sense.
Really, it does.
This honestly makes sense.
Well, no, that's what I think of. I think of like vampires and things, but that's just, you said it's the very first thing, the hotel.
Okay. Something possibly more ominous than immortal blood-sucking beings is the wooded area full of ghostly encounters, UFO sightings, and strange disappearances.
That's an interesting statement.
Would you agree?
I don't know.
I guess we'll see. The Hoia Baciu Forest is a 250-hectare patch of trees just northwest of Cluj-Napoca. Today, there are routes and trails used for hiking, biking, and other outdoor recreation, and it's a fairly popular tourist destination, but there are some locals that absolutely do not step foot into the woods. The fear that it strikes into the hearts of some Romanians just cannot be understated. It frightens some of them.
See, and that is such a tourist thing to do. It's like the locals are like, we do not sit underneath this tree. And the tourists are like, this one? Yeah. Immediately, they're like, let's all go sit underneath it and wait and see what happens. Ugh, I'm always so embarrassed to be a tourist.
Really?
If I go like on vacation, which is rare, but if I go somewhere, I'm always like, I live here. This is not exciting. Oh, y'all are impressed by this beach? I just live here. Because I don't want to be like, and like taking in all the sights. Because for some reason, it embarrasses me.
I don't take photos of really anything. I just forget about my phone most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not that kind of tourist, but I am a like,
Ooh,
look at this place kind of tourist. So
Yeah.
and I'm not embarrassed about it. I enjoy being that person.
I get embarrassed if I like breathe too loud.
That's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Hoia Baciu Forest was the topic of exploration on an episode of Destination Truth some years ago, and the one piece of advice the team received before entering the forest that night was simply, don't go.
Oh.
Like he drove up and was talking to some locals who live near the forest, and he had a translator because he couldn't speak Romanian. He's from LA, and he was like, if you had one piece of advice for me before I go in tonight, what would you say? Like, what kind of precautions should I take? And the guy was just like, don't go.
And I would listen.
He was like, okay, well, see you later.
And he went.
He did. It's a cursed land haunted by atrocities from the past and a strange energy permeating its trees. It's the site of the oldest Neolithic settlement in Romania. Remains of the old civilization were found on the outskirts of Hoia Baciu, said to have been occupied around 6,500 BC. So pretty old.
Wow.
They found tombs and homes and other remnants of the earliest farming civilization in Europe right around that forest. And they connected it to one of the oldest people to start farming in Europe.
Wow,
at
that's
that time.
cool.
So like with any ancient plot of land, whether the backstory is available to us or not, there is plenty of unexplainable activity in and around Hoia Baciu. If you're interested and live near Cluj-Napoca, a couple of companies offer daytime and nighttime tours, if you dare.
Nope.
But be careful if you plan to visit, because the forest has been rumored to be the site of a number of people vanishing into thin air along with their memories.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Of course, most of the things that we'll be discussing today are more legend than proven events, so take with what we say with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously,
As always.
believe most of this, so you can either be like me or
Like me.
It's believed that many peasants from centuries before have gone missing inside the forest. Now, whether that was because of dark circumstances like murder or paranormal events, it's unclear, though I think most tend to believe that massacres may have occurred in and around the area, and that's more why a lot of peasants just kind of never came home, but it's still not proven. The Hoia Baciu Forest is said to have gotten its name from one of these disappearances, a sheep farmer of the same name centuries ago. He walked into the forest with his flock of 200 sheep, and neither the farmer nor the sheep were ever seen again.
No.
They just dropped off the face of the earth.
It's really sad.
It is really sad,
I
but
don't like that.
apparently his name was like Hoia Baciu or Hoia or Baciu. I don't speak Romanian. His is not the only disappearance mentioned when talking of Hoia Baciu Forest, though. There are two others of note that I came across in my research, and is part of the reason why people refer to Hoia Baciu Forest as the Bermuda Triangle of Romania.
Whoa. That's a big claim.
Yeah.
Are we going to do an episode on the Bermuda Triangle?
I'd like to, yeah. That's a cool one.
I think so.
Comment down below if you're interested in the Bermuda Triangle, because
I am.
Anyway, there was a young 5-year-old girl who disappeared while out in the forest with her family. They were having a picnic in the clearing, and when they looked up, she was no longer in their sight. Thinking she just wandered into the edge of the trees, they called for her and walked toward the forest, but still they couldn't find her. An extensive search was made by authorities and locals, but she was nowhere to be found, and local law enforcement assumed she must have been taken or gotten lost and passed away out there.
That's so sad.
Not a trace of her was seen again until 5 years later, when she appeared in the forest again, in the same clothes she had on when she went missing, not a scratch on her, seeming to not have aged at all.
Oh, God.
She couldn't remember anything from the 5-year gap and assumed it was still the same day as the picnic.
What?
So weird.
Is this
Again,
real?
Not proven. I couldn't find any articles about it or anything like that, but it's
That's
a very
legend.
prominent legend in the area. Yeah. There was also a story of a woman who disappeared on a trip through the Hoia Baciu Forest, and it's unclear how long she had been gone, but when she appeared again, she had a 15th century coin in her pocket and had no memory of her disappearance or how she had retrieved the coin.
Are they time traveling in the forest?
There are lots of theories that some kind of portal or dimension slip or things like that.
Forests, national forests and things like that in general, there's a lot of, I think there's whole podcasts about national forests. There's some weird stuff. And there's a lot of stories of kids going missing and then showing up without a scratch on them. And it's
yeah, I've heard
how?
many all over the world.
Do you think
and that's
there's
this 5-year-old girl?
do you think there's a creature, or do you think there's some kind of woodland angel spirit that roams all the national forests and comes
Ooh.
and rescues the children.
I never thought about that, like some kind of angel or fairy or something like that like protects the children.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take I've never thought about before.
Because how else?
The first portals or like alternate dimensions, like slipping into other dimensions. That's
Again,
what I think of in my
I
mind.
can't.
We don't have to go into detail and
you know,
like try to
when
map out every dimension.
someone on a cartoon's like head explodes and then they're just like that little point and it's like black and smoking.
Yeah.
That's how I'll feel. Like if we talk about portals,
Well, get ready. Many people seem to have parts of their memory vanish after a hike through this forest, and it's said that people will go into the forest and remember all of their previous experiences within the trees, but once they leave the area again, it all just vanishes from their minds, as if the memories stay behind with the spirits of the forest, like the forest may be like taking on a life of its own and collecting the memories of those who passed through it for itself.
what if there's just some kind of species of tree that grows that emits some kind of like gas?
Well, that's interesting because we'll be talking about trees in a minute.
Oh, I'm so smart sometimes.
So save that.
No, but like seriously, like what if that's just like the simple scientific explanation?
That would be, well, there have been lots of scientists, botanists and stuff exploring this forest, studying it.
Okay.
And there's nothing definitive that they can find.
The soil.
They study soil
Oh,
too.
Okay. I don't know what a
Botanists
botanist
study
does.
soil and plants and everything.
Okay.
But let's talk about the forest for a minute, like the vanishing, the disappearances, because I have a couple of theories. Is it a time jump, like some kind of time travel loop thing? I don't know how that works exactly. Is there something about these people walking into the forest and even with their memories, just going through time and it just kind of jumbles you up a little bit? Or is it a portal into another dimension and you kind of fall in and out into other dimensions? Because that I find really intriguing.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know because I don't understand the
How that
different
works?
dimension thing.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Anybody in the comments, let us know because I want to have this discussion. Well, there are some who truly do believe that the forest contains some kind of portal, be it to another dimension, the astral plane, or something else entirely. And claims of this portal seem to be centered around one of the most intriguing aspects of Hoia Baciu. In the middle of the forest sits a nearly perfect round meadow devoid of all trees, bushes, or other vegetation aside from grass. And though, based on soil analysis, the soil in the clearing is exactly the same as the soil within the forest, with no observable differences between the two. Nothing aside from grass has ever taken roots there. It's weird. If you look at like a drone shot from it, it's like dense forest and then it's just this big like circle oval clearing just right there. It's not super huge, but it's big enough to be like, wow, there's sunlight in
That feels alien to me.
It's weird.
That feels alien. That feels crop circle. That feels like there's something going on. Cause what?
We'll get into Alien too. You are jumping
God.
ahead, but yeah, you
so
zeroed
smart.
in on this. It's quite unusual to see videos of people walking through the dense wood only to suddenly be surrounded by sunshine and clear skies. And before we move on with the clearing, I want to mention the trees of the Hoia Baciu Forest, because many of these trees seem to grow at severely twisted angles. Some of the pictures, and it's not uniform either. So some of the trees are up straight, normal trees, and then you'll enter a spot where some of the trees look like they grow up and then they shoot out, they jut out and circle around and then come back up again. To me, in my mind, it looks like if something had like blasted them out, but it had to have been over time because of the way they grew. Like it grew slowly outward like this.
Maybe that's where an alien keeps their ship, and so it like floats there. And like,
well, there are several, and it's not all uniform. Like sometimes it looks like that, and then sometimes they're all different directions. And there are some trees that grow in like a corkscrew twist, and it's always clockwise.
What?
And there is nothing.
Happening?
There is nothing to explain it. People have looked at it, and no one knows why.
I'm intrigued.
There are even some trees that seem to be growing from one root, and they have like 7, 8 different trees coming out of the same root.
Okay. There's something.
It's something weird is about this forest. It's just, it's a strange place. We'll put pictures too.
Yeah.
And on our Instagram, it is weird. But they look as if they bend, reaching out for you as you walk past. Some people claim that it's just so eerie in there. Like it's almost as if wind blowing and they're trying to reach out. Like you said, like there's some kind of species of tree that can do some strange stuff. It's almost like these trees are just more alive.
Communicating.
Yeah. Many of the trees have burns and scorch marks on them for no explainable reason as well. Spirits are often seen lurking through the trees, walking through 1 second and disappearing behind one of the bins the next. All eerie all the time.
My brain is, I'm taking it all in. This is a lot.
It's crazy. And we're just scratching the surface here. This all leads to the clearing. It's almost a reprieve when you enter the sunlight, but the eerie feeling still remains.
In my head, like I'm envisioning the clearing, like you're walking through the forest and then you get to the clearing. It feels like there's about to be like a final boss battle.
Yeah.
Like in
Zelda.
Zelda.
Like it, yes.
Like I'm like, whew, and you hear the stuff. And like
something falls from the sky.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
The sounds of footsteps and voices seem to reverberate around you in the clearing, bouncing around you from tree to tree until you can't tell where the sounds are coming from. Many other spooky things occur in and around the clearing. People will see the outlines of humanoid figures in the trees. There have been images of floating black masses captured on camera, and people often see glowing orbs with the naked eye floating within and above the trees.
What?
These glowing orbs of light have no explanation and will often disappear suddenly after several seconds.
I'm back on the alien train. This all feels very alien.
We're getting to aliens.
Okay, because this doesn't feel ghostly. This doesn't feel paranormal. This feels alien.
There are some stories of ghosts, but
that's like everywhere though.
Yeah.
Like that's in everybody's house. That's
Yes.
everywhere. The
Yes,
spirits are
that's
everywhere.
what I felt like. It wasn't any more ghostly than, I don't
A
know, any
normal
other forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something else here.
I think
There's
it's
something else here.
aliens.
The allure of this mysterious clearing has attracted many curious guests, including witches, mediums, and paranormal investigators. Alex, a man from Cluj-Napoca who offers tours of the forest, said that he once happened upon the clearing, and inside were 60 or so people from Bucharest attempting to open a gate into another dimension. So they were all just simultaneously, I don't know how you open a gate.
Just like,
I don't know.
like on Scooby-Doo when they're around the fire.
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Yeah. I assume he just like walked up, saw that, and was like, I'll come back.
Cinematic masterpiece, by the way.
True. As I said before, Destination Truth had an episode on the Hoia Baciu Forest. And while they were there, many wild things occurred. Definitely, you should watch it. If
But
you
it's
haven't
for
watched
TV, so I
But it-
always take that like,
just wait.
okay.
But yes, I agree. First, they attempted to get a bird's eye view of the forest and the clearing by plane. But as they got closer to the forest, the roof of the plane just ripped off. So they got near the forest, and all of a sudden, literally the roof of the front of the plane just gone.
It's aliens.
And they had to land. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we're going on foot. You're
There's
like,
like
the guy that's like, aliens.
Yeah, with the tan line.
Yeah, the crazy hair. It was as if a strong force was tearing at the plane as it entered the pull of the forest. It's really weird. Then, when they entered the forest by like ATV or four-wheeler or something, and walked along on foot, they captured several photos of the glowing orbs in the distant trees. So they saw them with their eyes and they got them on picture.
That's what's getting me, is seeing it like with your eyes. Because like on picture and video, it's one thing. It's like, oh, but like you're seeing that.
What's even weirder is they had thermal cameras, no thermal detection. It was nothing. It was just same all around. But like they moved the camera down, still see the glowing orb, and then move back up, no heat coming from it. Just a glowing
Okay.
light. Like many people experience when walking through Hoia Baciu, several of them became increasingly anxious and had these feelings of unease. Like many people who walk through the forest just immediately, for no reason, get these strange feelings within them.
You can tell when
Yes.
things are off.
The real spooky things began to happen after nightfall when they were investigating the clearing. First of all, it had an EMF reading that was off the charts. And this happens often with paranormal investigators who bring EMF detectors there. There's a decent electromagnetic charge through the forest, but when you reach the clearing, it just spikes. Then, while Josh, who's the main guy, the host of the show, was sitting in the clearing, he was recording video and audio, as you know most investigators do. On his audio, he captured not only the sounds of a woman eerily moaning in the distance, but also the sounds of a woman giggling.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
It did. When I watched it, I had to pause it for a while.
You could
'cause I was
hear
like,
it?
oh yeah, he has it on audio. He's got it.
No thanks.
And they didn't realize this while he was sitting there. Like, he didn't hear it. He went back home and was going through all of his footage and feeds and heard it and was like, whoa.
No.
You could hear it as like distant, like, ooh, kind of
Uh-uh.
like sounds.
Okay,
And
don't.
then like childish giggles.
I
It was
that makes me want to throw up.
it was sickening. Yeah.
I'm sick.
Next, one of his cameramen was up to sit in the middle of the clearing. They were kind of taking turns just going through, also recording audio and video of his experience. The man was talking to the crew who were stationed a little ways away from the clearing inside the forest where they set up camp. And he claimed to hear the sounds of a woman speaking over his shoulder in the trees. He was just suddenly like, hey guys, I'm hearing, it sounds like a woman is speaking. So the first guy, Josh, didn't hear anything with his ears. The next guy did. He started hearing like as if it was getting closer.
Oh my God.
Nobody was there, of course, but he kept hearing it. And then suddenly he disappeared from view of the camera. Like one frame to the next, he just like shot backwards, was gone. He appeared to have been shot backwards or pulled backwards towards the trees behind him. The crew ran to his location because they're like, whoa, 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 where'd he go? Where'd he go? And they found him. He was barely able to speak, like in shock for several minutes. Just like, they're like, what happened? He was just like, I don't know. When he finally did speak, he said that he felt some kind of force move him backwards. You can see in the video, if you go watch the episode, I don't know if we're going to be able to put it in the video because I don't know copyright stuff, but you can see he's sitting crisscross, like feet crossed, and just sitting there talking with a camera right here and a camera like over there, audio recording anyway. He's sitting there and all of a sudden you just see him, like his hand goes up and he just shoots backwards like this, just like he's like trying to grab onto something and he just flies backwards.
My only like hang up on that is that it's for TV.
Yeah.
Of course they need some big to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100%
And I
sold.
haven't seen very many episodes of Destination Truth, only a handful.
Yeah.
And not all of them, I don't think all of them have something crazy wild like that happen.
But they all have to have something to make it in the show.
Well, what else was weird is that when he finally sat down, he was like, oh man, my arm is itching. So they pull up his clothes. He's got long sleeve on, and underneath his sleeves, he has several scratches on his arm.
Ew.
His clothes are not messed up. He just
Yeah.
suddenly has several fresh bleeding scratches on his arm.
I don't like that.
No explanation.
That's chilling, but I'm skeptical.
Skeptical, yeah. Well, they decided to leave immediately. They were like, okay, that's enough. I think we should go. Their medic, before they left, got nauseous and threw up.
Oh my gosh.
And that's something that happens often in the forest. So people often leave the forest with scratches, rashes, burn marks sometimes on their bodies with no recollection of how it could have happened. And along with the anxiety and uneasy feelings comes nausea for some people. A lot of people will get sick to their stomach.
There's like radiation or something. This is
There
Chernobyl.
is.
Like this is
There, no, I don't have proof, but on several of my sources, we're saying that there are like detections of like small amounts of radiation.
my brain. It's just working.
You're on
today.
it.
I
You're
really
on it.
am.
You're like jumping through my
my
whole thing. I don't even
God.
need to be here.
Oh my God. I'm actually like shocked with myself because I'm trying to come up with all the explanations.
Well, I found it very interesting that the crew experienced a great many of the symptoms that the forest seems to bring, but like you said, skeptical. Like they kind of knew some of the stuff would already happen.
I
But
want to
maybe-
watch someone that's not getting paid to be out there or to make the TV or something.
I watched a few YouTubers out there and nothing really happened. I saw a few of them get scratches.
But YouTubers still get paid.
well, some of them don't.
I mean, not us.
No.
But like big YouTubers
bigger
that
ones,
can
yeah.
afford to go to Romania, they're getting paid. So
Yeah.
they're going to make something happen because nobody is going to watch the video of a YouTuber going, and we experienced nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. Like,
I
nobody's-
do.
Okay.
I
But
do.
like the big ones are like, they want it to be like clickbaity and like,
Yeah.
we got attacked in the forest.
Well, I
So-
watched a lot of smaller ones who were just happened to be on vacation
Yeah.
in Transylvania, and they went to the forest and
you know,
spent the night there.
happened to be there.
Yeah, people go on vacation to Transylvania
I
sometimes.
don't know. That just sounds so strange.
Vacation?
Yes.
We're
in
poor.
this economy.
So maybe it's possible that the strange plant growth and feelings experienced here has something to do with strong electromagnetic field that seems to meddle with compasses, GPS, and other electronic devices and batteries. So like with any like paranormal place, there's something crazy going on that makes all of the electronics go haywire.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will enter and their compass just spins and it won't settle on north.
That would scare me.
Honestly, yeah. And get lost. Their GPSs will stop working too, so they're
Yeah.
just nothing.
No.
The clearing seems to be the hub of activity for Hoia Baciu, and it's considered a portal of some kind by paranormal enthusiasts. Could it be a portal to hell, which some claim it to be? A portal between realms and planes like the spirit realm or astral plane? There's also another potential explanation that has a little bit of evidence to back it up, as much as these things can have anyway.
It seems scientific to me. It doesn't seem
Ghostly?
Ooh, yeah, no, it seems like it's people from another planet, like messing with things.
Yeah.
Also, it's just like, of course it's in Transylvania. Like it just, I don't know.
It seems right.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of theories, but I'm kind of saving them.
You keep firing them at you.
Keep bringing them. I want to hear them. Present-day interest in the Hoia Baciu Forest seems to have begun in the 1950s when a biologist named Alexandru Sift began making trips into the forest for study. He had heard from locals stories of the forest and wanted to investigate it himself. And when he first went into the forest, he experienced all of the same strange sensations some of the locals have reported. He would see shadows lurking and darting behind the trees, following him through the forest. He took photographs of excursions and captured images of shadows that were not there when he snapped the photo. He referred to them as umbrellas. I'm sure it was in Romanian, but I don't speak Romanian, and the English term was umbrellas, so. He heard the sounds of chattering teeth echo around him, would hear giggling as if from children playing, and most interestingly, he saw a UFO above the clearing.
Yup. First, chattering teeth.
That reminds me of one of the stories we told about, was it mimics? Like some kind of mimic? Like the cryptid version of a mimic?
I don't remember.
I think it was our mimics episode. Well, sometimes people will hear the sounds of chattering teeth.
Oh, that makes me
sick.
Want to end.
Uneasy.
Yeah.
His claims stirred up great interest in the area. And then in 1968, when a military technician named Emil Barnia captured images of a UFO while inside the Hoia Baciu Forest, things really ramped up. So on August 18th, 1968, Emil was out camping with some friends when he left for a moment to, I think, go get some firewood or something. He heard his friends in the distance calling his name, and when he walked back to camp, he looked out to see what everyone was fussing about. When he looked up over the clearing, he spotted a flying object that appeared to be made of some kind of shining metal. The UFO was hovering fairly close to the trees and was moving in an intelligent manner. It hovered there for 2 minutes or so, and in that time, Emil was able to capture several images of the object before it disappeared. We have those images today.
See, every time I see an airplane at night, I'm like,
alien.
Is it a UFO? And I watch it. And
really?
like, I think I like tell myself like I want to see it. But I think as an adult now, if I actually see something, I'm going to be so scared. Just because of the unknown. I don't think aliens or people from another planet are here to harm us. But it's just the unknown.
Yeah.
That I'd be like, oh.
I feel that. I agree. Because you don't know. They could be.
But I doubt it. If they wanted to attack us, they would have by now.
Remember, this is 1968, so
I'm convinced.
He got like 3 of them.
I'm convinced.
It kind of looks like a water spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a few of them.
I believe it.
That's so interesting. Like when I see something, I'm like ghosts. And when you see something in the sky, you're like alien.
First of all, if you don't think that there's something else in the universe, like, grow up. Like, we're not the only planet that has life. Like, we're
in
not.
The entire
there's
universe?
Just no way. Like, mathematically, there's no way. So there is. And I just, it seems more like more
But why
plausible.
would they have interest in us? Why would they care?
Maybe it's for comedy.
What's most interesting about Emil's encounter with the UFO was that during this time, the government was very anti-paranormal, no weird, strange, supernatural things. And we're not very fond of people discussing it in public. Or at all, really. Emil lost his job after sharing these images with the public and wouldn't have had any means of support afterwards because of I think they were like a communist government.
That's so sad.
He risked a lot sharing these images, and this only adds to the legitimacy of the story for me.
Yeah.
We still have these images today, and they're not super clear because it was 1968, but they're compelling. And we will post them. In 1993, Alexandru Sift passed away, unfortunately. It's said that he had burns and high fevers after spending such a significant amount of time inside the forest. Reports of radiation inside the forest may have something to do with this and could be the culprit for the strange feelings of headaches, nausea, and anxiety in people who walk through the forest. The theory here is that maybe alien or UFO activity may have something to do with some of the strange anomalies that occur within the forest, particularly the clearing, because that's where a lot of people see the UFOs.
Well, I mean, it's in the clearing.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, even from outside.
Oh.
Maybe a UFO landed or is landing in the middle of the forest at some point in history.
Yeah.
And could be a cause of the strange formation of the trees, other vegetation not to grow right there.
I think so. I think it's like that because that's their landing spot. They land there frequently, so like...
Yeah. Or had in the past, and there's just some kind of lasting effect that it left.
Yeah.
Some kind of pollution pollutant in the area that wasn't good for the ground.
Yeah.
Part of me feels as if there may be a UFO of some kind of alien material buried down deep. That was my first thought when I first started looking into this. It was like maybe there's some kind of craft or something down underground, like, I don't know, either dormant or just there sitting.
No, yeah. Why aren't we digging? Why aren't we using like sonar? Like,
and
why
they
are
might
we not?
have, I don't know. Not in any of my studies.
Which, okay, I say all this, but then I'm like, protect the trees, protect the forest. So
And
don't.
you're like, dig.
Let it die. Let it die. No, like, don't. But I want to know.
But that's the first thing that came to mind is like, maybe there's some kind of craft
That I
underneath,
didn't even think of that.
and it's just seeping out radiation or some other kind of weird thing that's messing with the magnetic field. With Sift went all of his photographs and a good portion of his research, unfortunately. So after he passed away, they were just gone. So government?
Conspiracy. Yes.
Or they just got lost in a pile of an older man's things. I don't know.
No. If you believed in something like that so heavily and like you experienced that and it actually happened, you're not just throwing that with all your bills and your receipts and stuff. You're keeping that like safe.
Unless you're really, really unorganized.
I just feel like
If you have proof of something like that. Yeah.
you're going to keep it where you know where it's safe.
Well, nobody knows where it all ended up. But Adrian Patrut, a professor of, I think he's either chemistry or physics at a local university, continued on research in Hoia Baciu. He was a friend of Sift and has also spent a substantial amount of time studying the forest and clearing since the 1970s and possible reasons for all of the paranormal phenomenon. Patrut focused most of his work on the magnetic anomalies in the area and believes that the cause of all these things could be some form of infrasound.
Okay. What's
So,
that?
It's like a low frequency sound that we can't hear, but it affects its surroundings.
Okay.
So have you
With
ever
the
heard of like
trees?
the Dyatlov Pass?
No.
Where it's a long time ago, I think it was in Russia or Ukraine or somewhere around there, where they were a group of like students, I think, were hiking up a mountain and they just lost contact with people, and the next night or few nights later, actually, they found and their tent was ripped open from the inside. They were like half dressed. They were like spread out everywhere.
Yes, I've
Some
heard
people
of that.
think it was like one of the theories is that it was infrasound that caused them to kind of go crazy, like some weird frequency or like government thing.
I've seen that, and that is insane.
I think a lot of people now believe that it may have been some kind of avalanche, but that is one of the theories.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. It makes me uneasy.
But it's the same kind of thing here. Obviously not to the extent that it may have happened there. But it's possible that this could cause strange sensations in people like headaches, nausea, etc. because exposure to infrasound can affect your blood pressure, cause heart palpitations, disorientation, and several other symptoms. None of Patrut's theories are conclusive, but they have been successful at drumming up interest in the forest by scientists and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Many people, since the first reported sightings in the 50s, have seen UFOs over the clearing of the forest. And the most recent report that I could find was in 2002, when someone living in an apartment in Cluj-Napoca that looked out over the forest spotted a cigar-shaped object in the sky. They supposedly recorded a 27-second video of it moving back and forth until over the forest until it shot up into the sky and got lost in the clouds. I couldn't find the video in a quick search, so sorry, but I saw many sources report on it, so...
Okay.
What's really frustrating about this one is a lot of the stories are like, one of my friends had a friend who, and it's just very like second, third, fourth hand stories. It's hard to prove.
So it's made more intense.
Yeah.
It could just be like, oh, we thought we saw like a light, but it ended up being a bird. And then everyone's like, oh, and they just have to make it scary when they tell their friend.
A
Yeah, I
little
could
bit.
see that.
And I don't even know it kind of did at the end.
No,
you pulled it together and I got it.
It makes sense.
But I get less of the feeling of that and more of, oh, I saw this weird thing, and they're like, my friend saw this weird thing. And it's not so much of a, I'm trying to scare my friend, but of a, hey, warning, these things are seen here. This forest is basically the site of every paranormal believer's dreams because not only does it have strange phenomenon, UFOs, theories of portals and alternate dimensions, but it is rumored to be the home of some sort of cryptid.
Okay.
Now this one's very short.
Okay.
It's a very short legend. Not even legend. Friend told a friend kind of story.
Okay.
There have been several reports corroborated by a story told by the Hoia Baciu tour guide that I mentioned before, Alex. of a run-in with some kind of strange creature in the woods at night. The reason Alex no longer camps out in Hoia Baciu at night is because of the first, and I think it was the last time, he and a friend stayed the night in the forest. While lying in his tent in the dead of night, he heard very loud noise of hooves beating on the ground around him. It was loud enough to be a large horse, but knowing there weren't any horses in the area, he thought it must be a deer that didn't notice their camp, because there are deer out there.
Yeah.
He stuck his head outside of his tent, but nothing was there. Not a person, no animal, nothing. The noise stopped as soon as he exited his tent as well. And when he returned back into his tent, the noise started up again, almost as if whatever was out there was taunting him and his friend. He's not the only person to have had this kind of experience either, supposedly.
I don't like it. So they never saw anything? They just hear it?
They didn't see it, they just hear it.
Maybe it wants you to go out to the forest and
Yes.
find it.
That's like a story. Did we tell it on here or did I read it somewhere where they were out, like her and her brother were out camping?
Oh, and the guy was like, come look at this, or come over
Yeah,
here.
she heard her brother talking.
Yeah.
Was that on here or did we just talk about that some other time?
I'm pretty sure it was on here because I don't seek stories like
Okay.
that on my own.
Hated that.
Uh-huh.
But that reminded me, like it's luring out there.
Oh my God. Those episodes about like mimics and things has like literally scarred me.
Oh, me too.
Because I painted the picture in my mind when you told the story and now I can't get it out.
I know.
Of like the uncle like moving his head like a bird and being like, hey, come over here. Hey, come.
I think about all of those often
That
too.
one, and then the one where he like backflipped away.
Yeah. The more you sit with that one too, the worse it
It's
gets.
really horrifying.
I'll be
Oh,
80 years old and be at peak horror at
my
that.
whole body just went numb. I hated that episode a lot.
It is one of my favorites, but
It
one
was
of my
a-
least.
Yes, because
Yeah.
it was the scariest one.
Definitely. Go watch it if you haven't. It is frightening. So the hauntings are ever present in most visits through the forest. Many report the same sounds of disembodied voices floating through the trees while inside. The giggling, soft screams, and voices seem to be carried with the wind, as if softly blown in the breeze straight to your ears. Just very soft, just right.
Okay.
You don't know where it's coming from. There have been reports of footprints in the snow that simply stop in the middle of walk as if the person or spirit or whatever just vanished into thin air.
They're a cow being beamed up.
Yeah, maybe. Or a person.
I can only envision a cow.
People will often find ghostly faces and figures standing behind them in the trees in photographs taken inside the forest. With the distant glowing lights as if from a lantern or torch, people have claimed to see glowing eyes watching them at night as well.
Oh my God.
Though this could just be animals, so.
Very true.
That was my first thought. Like if you see glowing eyes in the dark, I'm immediately
That's an
thinking
animal. A
deer or rabbit or something.
Yeah.
Do
But what
rabbits
if
go
it's
out at night?
really tall? I don't know.
Oh yeah, if it's like 6 feet off the ground or something.
Ugh.
Yeah, that just
Yeah.
got me.
Yeah.
No, don't like it. And many people have definitely seen the black fog in person and in photos. The same one that Alexandra Sift claimed to have seen.
Okay.
People lose time while inside the forest, thinking they've been inside maybe 30 minutes, but by the time they leave, it's been several hours.
That's like In the Tall Grass by Stephen King.
We may not ever know the source of the sounds of giggling, screaming, and the voice of a woman heard often, but one legend may be able to explain one of the spirits seen often by women and children who explore the forest. There was once a bride and groom walking through the forest on the day of their wedding. Thinking their steps were in tandem, the groom walked along through the forest and hadn't noticed when his bride suddenly stopped and decided to walk in the opposite direction with no warning. It wasn't until they were near the entrance of the forest when he noticed she was gone. Frantic, he and their families searched for her, but she never showed up. She's now seen in a wedding dress, waving and smiling to children and other women. We've got another lady in white.
I give up. That's why I was not even reacting. It's the woman in white.
She doesn't appear to men, and maybe she's the reason for the scratches and rashes on the arms of men spending time in the forest.
Me.
It's possible she was the spirit that forced the cameraman from Destination Truth backwards. There are theories that her fiancé may have lied and is responsible for her disappearance out in the woods.
Oh, that's sick.
Now she lives in her afterlife, still afraid, angry, and wary of men, having lost her life to the hands of another.
Good for her.
It's possible. Maybe she's the one giggling and
Evil.
like being sinister.
No,
you
not
are
her.
very dark.
Not her.
You're like good for her. That's like
No.
creepy.
I said like evil that he did that to her. I wasn't
Yeah.
saying she's evil.
No. I feel
I
feel
don't
like she's
like
a little
this.
creepy.
That's sad. She's
is
hurt.
sad. Possibly. Or she's a demon.
Could always be. I mean,
That's always a possibility.
yeah, I don't like that. Not a good place to end.
So like I said, most of the reported stories from Hoia Baciu are all second and third hand. Like I heard from a friend who heard from a friend who heard from another friend. And there aren't many historical documents proving any of this to be true. And it's interesting that there are so many stories in the area. Like just there's a lot. There's a lot of legend and lore behind every aspect of the forest. I just find it intriguing.
Even if there weren't stories, like let's ask the audience. Look at the trees. Look at all
the weird. And then the people getting all these strange feelings when they walk into the forest.
Yeah, but even that I can look past, but like the
heart palpitations and nausea and everything like that too.
well, that could like I said, there could be like radiation or something weird going on there. But like the way the trees are growing and they all grow clockwise, like that is unexplainable.
Yeah, very weird.
That is so strange.
That on its own is like a whole like, all right, cool, wrap it up.
Yeah,
That's not normal. That's paranormal.
it is. Like it just has to be, because that doesn't make sense. This is gonna stay on my brain for a while.
It has mine. One thing's for certain. This is not a place I'll be going.
No.
I am an inside girly through and through. I don't like the outdoors unless there are accommodations made to make it a controlled environment.
Yes.
And I especially don't want to go in a place that I may be haunted, sickened, physically ill.
Yeah, like I can handle a haunted hotel. I can't handle the haunted
outdoors.
outside.
Yeah.
That's just like two of my biggest fears. Outside.
Made me think of the SpongeBob episode where he's like, indoors.
That's literally me. I can't go into this forest and draw a sea bear circle. Like I'm not doing all that.
No. So yeah, I figured that would be your response too.
Yeah.
We won't be going, but let us know if you've ever been here because I would love to hear your stories.
Oh yeah.
If you're from Romania or anywhere near this forest, let us know any of the legends that you've heard before. I'm intrigued. I want to know
too.
everything there is to know about Hoia Baciu Forest.
I need to watch a documentary on this.
Yeah. There's a lot out there, so
into this.
we can go into more
Okay.
on our own. But we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us on our ramblings through the paranormal and all of our theories and strangeness. This was a little bit different because we talked kind of more about aliens and things beyond.
This is where I get into it.
And I figured you would be more into this one. So
I'm more into the weird, I think.
yeah,
You're into like the
spirits, the
Yeah.
spiritual realm, and you're more into outer space.
yeah.
We'll mix it up. Let us know if you enjoyed this kind of episode because I'm definitely down to look into more to other alien-esque, alien adjacent topics.
100%. The pyramids. We will talk about the pyramids.
We have it on the list
I
already.
don't care.
If you're on YouTube, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. Please subscribe. Please comment. It helps the algorithm. And if you're on podcasts, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review, please. That'll help us kind of grow too. If you have a paranormal story of any kind, aliens is included in that topic, please send it to us via email at ghosteaspod@gmail.com. We would love to share your story on a future episode or just read it if you don't want us to share it.
Yeah, no, for real. I don't think we've ever said that, but like alien stories, send them.
All
like,
of them.
If we get enough, I'm not opposed to doing like a listener stories aliens edition. Like
I'm down.
So down.
Yeah.
Send us the photos, everything. That sounds really fun to me.
I don't know. I get more excited about aliens in the summertime because I don't know. It's like more outdoorsy time. And yeah, this is alien season. So if you want to go ahead and send us those. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at GhosteasPod. We'll be posting the pictures that we have of the forest and everything up there. But thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next Monday.
Goodbye.